100% respect for Isagi. Yeah, we all remember Kira, right? The guy who got smacked in the face with the ball and then kicked out of Blue Lock, all thanks to Isagi. So, yeah, Kira absolutely hates him. Isagi literally just ended his entire dream of becoming Japan's star striker in minutes. Now just imagine being Kira and sitting at home watching Isagi score the winning goal against Japan's U20. Damn. Anyway, let's move on to Alexis Ness, but yeah, this guy also hates Isagi, so we're staying at 0%. As we all know, Ness is obsessed with Kaiser, so the second Kaiser started paying attention to Isagi, boom. Ness became Isagi's #1 hater. Like, he even told Isagi to quit the team, but the more fired up Kaiser got over Isagi, the more Ness absolutely spiraled. Oh, and when Ness accidentally assisted Isagi's winning goal against PXG, yeah, that broke him. So Ness absolutely despises Isagi. Moving on, we've got Chris Prince, and he's also got 0% respect for Isagi. Chris is the superstar striker for Manshine City and known as the #2 in the world, right behind Noel Noah. So when Bastard Minchin went up against Manshine City, Chris saw it as his big chance to prove to the world that he's the real #1. But then Isagi blocked his shot. Yeah, Chris absolutely lost it. Like, after the match, he straight up said, "I won't forgive him. If it hadn't been for Isagi, the world would have seen me surpass Noah." So, safe to say that Chris wants to crush Isagi just like he crushed those poor sunglasses. Now, let's talk about Julian Loki, who actually does respect Isagi, well, at 1%. As we all know, Loki is part of Team World 5, and he's insanely good at football. Like, his speed is literally inhuman. He's also usually cool, calm, and polite. But when Isagi straight up told him he was just born fast and too full of himself, and that he should admit defeat after failing to predict that Isagi and Kaiser would shut down Rin from scoring, Loki was absolutely raging. So yeah, he really doesn't like Isagi. And someone else who also really doesn't like Isagi is Michael Kaiser, who's at 20%. At first, Kaiser saw Isagi as just some background NPC he would crush while showing off his own brilliance. But after Isagi embarrassed Kaiser and stole the spotlight during the Manshine City match, everything changed. He didn't care about that Real contract or fame anymore, he just wanted to beat Isagi. However, during the PXG game, Kaiser dropped his Isagi obsession and instead started playing for himself. They even teamed up to crush Rin and PXG, although Kaiser still said he hated Isagi to death. But when Isagi scored the final goal and completely outsmarted him, Kaiser literally broke. Then, Isagi walks up to him looking like he's gonna shake his hand, but instead says, "Thanks for that shit, my ultimate clown." Yeah, Kaiser lost his mind. Moving on, let's talk about Ryusei Shido at 60%. These two didn't exactly get off to the best start, as Shido literally tried to kick Isagi in the face after getting called out for trash-talking Kunigami. But after Isagi's clutch goal in the first tryout match, Shido respected Isagi's skills, and even said he might quite like it when Isagi explodes. Then, during the Neo Egoist League, he also said he respected how creative Isagi's goals were, calling them explosive. So although Shido's a maniac, even he can't deny that Isagi's got skills. Next up, Rensuke Kunigami, who has 70% respect for Isagi. Back in the early Blue Lock days, Kunigami saw Isagi as one of his best friends, and he was thankful when Isagi helped him score against Team X. But after Kunigami's wildcard return, he came back a completely different guy. Way more serious and way colder. Then, after Isagi assisted him during the match against Barcha, Kunigami said, "You've fallen as a striker," as he was genuinely disappointed in Isagi because he used to hold him in high regard as a striker. That said, after the Manshine City game, when Isagi asked him for advice, Kunigami still helped him out. Then, he actually assisted Isagi during the PXG match and said, "Now we're even." So yeah, Kunigami's not his old self, but it's clear he still has some respect for Isagi. Staying at 70%, we've got Rin Itoshi. We all know Rin's whole life goal was to surpass his brother Sai, but now he wants to destroy Isagi as well. Yeah, at first, Rin had zero respect for Isagi and straight up called him nothing. But when Isagi scored the winning goal against Japan's U20, Isagi got the recognition Rin desperately wanted from his brother Sai, being acknowledged as a true striker. And that's when Rin snapped and swore to kill Isagi. Yeah, seriously. So during the Neo Egoist League, Rin became obsessed with killing Isagi on the field. But when Isagi destroyed him once again by scoring the winning goal against PXG, Rin saw Isagi as the literal demon king of Blue Lock. So yeah, he does respect how strong he's become, but he still also wants to kill him. Yeah, it's kinda confusing. Moving up to 75%, we've got the best striker in the world, Noah. At first, Noah didn't really care about Isagi. To him, Isagi was just a useful tool to help Kaiser unlock his potential. But yeah, that all changed when Isagi started making some serious plays. And when Isagi then called out Noah and challenged his title as the world's best striker, that's when Noah saw Isagi had the same obsessive hunger to win that Noah's old rival Ego had. And while Noah finds that obsession annoying, he definitely respects it. Next up, we've got Jingo Raichi, who respects Isagi at 80%. Remember when Isagi passed to Kunigami instead of Raichi in the match against Team X? Well, Raichi was absolutely fuming. He straight up told Isagi he was wide open and that Isagi sucked and shouldn't even be a striker. And throughout the series, Raichi keeps getting annoyed and frustrated by Isagi, especially in Bastard München when Isagi was being treated as a superstar. However, once Raichi finally got to start as a defensive midfielder, he stopped being jealous and instead followed Isagi's lead. Because although he'll never say it out loud, he truly respects just how good Isagi really is. Now, everyone's favorite keeper, Gin Gagamaru, at 85%. Although these two don't interact that often, it's clear they're good friends. Like, while all the other guys get annoyed seeing Isagi in the spotlight, Gagamaru really doesn't care. He's literally just happy to play. Anyway, Gagamaru clearly respects Isagi's skill and sees him as a top-tier player. Continuing at 85%, we also got Iki Nico. Nico was the first one to actually match Isagi's crazy spatial awareness, and he even said their eyes and brains were alike. But after losing to Isagi, Nico realized he needed to evolve, so he started focusing on his own goals and survival, and that's all thanks to Isagi. Nico even admitted that Isagi changed how he saw football and helped him rediscover the fun in the game. Sure, he still wants to surpass him, but it's all out of respect, not hate. So they're good friends, and they constantly push each other to level up. Now, let's talk about Shohei Baro, who, believe it or not, has 90% respect for Isagi. Although, at first, Baro thought Isagi was straight up trash. But then came that iconic 3 vs 3 match, where Isagi forced Baro to pass, snatched his crown, and completely defeated him. From then on, Isagi became Baro's true rival, and he only wanted to destroy him. Like, we could all see how pissed he was when Isagi started over him in the U20 match. Then when they meet again in the Neo Egoist League, Baro is literally drooling and saying that he will destroy him. Oh, and he also headbutted him, but yeah, he hurt himself in the process, and Aiku was like, "Are you two friends or something?" Anyway, Baro truly respects Isagi, although he would never admit it. But moving on, let's talk about Kenyu Yukimiya, at 95%. During the Neo Egoist League, Yukimiya was pissed that Isagi was getting special treatment and that people called him the hero of Blue Lock. He even called him the same kind of self-serving shithead as Kaiser, and Yukimiya straight up wanted to crush Isagi to prove he was the better player. But that all changed during the Manshine City match, as Isagi tricked Yukimiya by feeding into his egoism and then gave him the game-winning assist, letting him take the spotlight. And that moment hit Yukimiya hard. Now, instead of seeing Isagi as just some rival to beat, Yukimiya is constantly amazed by how fast Isagi keeps evolving, and even admitted that Isagi is now his goal. Another character at 95% is Yo Hiyori. From the start, Hiyori saw Isagi as a friend, and he even gave him some advice to become even better. The respect he had for Isagi only grew stronger, especially when Isagi trusted him to be subbed in during the Ubers match, because that moment changed everything for Hiyori. He actually used to hate football because of his parents' pressure, but now he finally found something to play for, to be Isagi's key and help him become the king of the field. After unlocking his ego, the two pulled off a crazy chemical reaction, creating the perfect play that ended the game. So now, Hiyori believes in Isagi's potential and sees him as the real deal, someone who can truly make it to the top. Still at 95%, we've got Oliver Aiku. Aiku is a confident defender and the former captain of Japan's U20 team, but during the match against Blue Lock, he was super impressed by how good Isagi was. And when Isagi scored that game-winning goal, Aiku didn't whine or make excuses. He straight up shook his hand and gave him props for the win. Then later, when Aiku faced Isagi again against Bastard München, he overheard Isagi talking about Metavision, and it totally blew his mind. He was so into it, he accidentally unlocked Metavision himself right then and there. And that's when he realized just how next level Isagi's football IQ really is. So he admires Isagi's skills and respects him as a true genius on the field. Now, let's talk about Jinpachi Ego, because this guy has 100% respect for Isagi. If you didn't know, Ego literally handpicked Isagi for Blue Lock. Yep, even when Henri was like, Nah, he's not good enough. Ego saw something special in him. And every time Isagi makes a game-changing move or makes some insane ego-fueled plays, Ego smiles. Because Isagi is literally everything Ego wants in a striker. Oh, and don't forget, when Isagi demanded that Ego tells him how to beat the U20 team, he didn't care about the future, he just wanted to win. And that fiery ego and passion is what Ego lives for. So yeah, Ego literally sees Isagi as the future of Japanese football. Moving on, we've got Meguru Bachira at 100%. From the moment they teamed up in Blue Lock, Bachira recognized the monster inside Isagi. He trusted Isagi's instincts, and he always looks to pass to him during matches because he believes in his ego. And before the game against Team V, Bachira even told Isagi he'd be lonely without him if they lost and never saw each other again, because Isagi was his first real best friend. Since then, their bond only got stronger. Oh, and let's not forget that Bachira was absolutely ready to fight Shido for trying to kick Isagi. Yeah, Bachira doesn't just respect Isagi, he admires him. And someone else who, believe it or not, also admires Isagi is Sai Itoshi. Yeah, crazy, right? That cool and smug prodigy who usually doesn't care about anyone got mad respect for Isagi. Because during the Japan U20 match, Sai was genuinely impressed by how Isagi could plan out goals, fire up his teammates, and even manipulate Rin into entering flow, just to use that awakening to score the game-winning goal. That's when Sai called Isagi the heart of Blue Lock, and he straight up told Rin that Isagi is going to be the one to change Japanese football. He even said Isagi's the first Japanese striker he's ever truly respected. Next up, also at 100%, Hayoma Chigiri. Remember when Isagi literally tackled Chigiri to keep the play alive during the match against Team W? Well, that moment, and watching Isagi fight to win, helped Chigiri break through his fear of hurting his knee and rediscover his love for the game. Since then, these two have become very good friends and rivals, and Chigiri really respects Isagi's insane ability to read the field and make split-second plays. They're also really close off the field, like we literally see Chigiri hiding behind Isagi when Ryu starts creeping on his long hair. And let's not forget when Chigiri saved Isagi from getting kicked in the face by Shido. So Chigiri doesn't just respect Isagi as a player, he respects him as one of his closest friends. Moving on, we also gotta talk about Gurimu Igarashi at 100%. At first, these two were literally at the bottom of the Blue Lock rankings. Igarashi even tried to tag Isagi during the entrance game just to survive. But when Isagi had the perfect chance to eliminate Igarashi, he chose to go after stronger players instead. And from there, their friendship started to grow, and eventually Igarashi basically became Isagi's biggest fan. Like after watching Isagi pull off some insane plays, he thought he was awesome. And when Isagi helped Igarashi discover his own ego, which was literally just getting free kicks, Igarashi straight up told him he was freaking amazing and super good at football. Now last, but definitely not least, we've got Seishiro Nagi, who also respects Isagi at 100%. After losing to Isagi during the first selection, Nagi had a wake-up call. He realized that if he kept relying on Ryo, their dream could disappear. So, for the first time ever, he took initiative, ditching Ryo to team up with Isagi so he could grow on his own. And on the field, their chemistry is next level. And off the field, they're close friends. But let's not forget, Nagi sees Isagi as his true rival. As after Isagi stole the spotlight in the first selection, Nagi became obsessed with beating him. Even when they were teammates, Nagi always had that fire to outshine Isagi. So Isagi is probably the first person Nagi has ever really looked up to. So Nagi's easily got 100% respect for Isagi. But how much do you respect Isagi? Let me know in the comments below.